welcome to Sew Kodiak Life, and today I'm going to teach you how to make this cute pleated pouch. So you can see that there are pleats here on the bottom and it snaps. You can put in, this is just a little plastic snap here, and you have this wonderful cute little pouch that could be great for a friend or keeping anything in. So to get started, you can download the free pattern. There'll be a link on the YouTube channel to download this. And the directions are you need to cut 2 of the main fabric out and 2 of the lining fabric out. And then you need to cut 1 of the main fabric and 1 of the lining fabric for the tongue that closes the little purse. So I've already done that step here. So I have my lining fabric, I have the outside fabric, and I have the fabric for the tongue. I have a little tag, and this time I'm going to sew in a little tiny clip. So the first step is to take your tongue material. You're going to have right sides together. And at 1/4 of an inch, you're going to want to sew along this edge here, leaving it open for turning on the back side. All right, so we're going to sew the tongue of the little pouch. And I'm doing that at 1/4 of an inch, so you're going to want to start and lock that stitch in. Always go nice and slow around the corners. Right, so this is what it should look like at this stage. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn it right side out. So what's neat about this little pouch is it is so quick and easy to make. Now you can press this, and then you can give it a beautiful little top stitch here around the edge. So normally I'd take that over to my iron, but right now I'm just going to do a little finger pressing, and then now I'm going to come around and top stitch. So here I am. So the next step that I'm going to do is, here is the main fabric. And you're going to take one piece, and in the center of that piece, you're going to want to do a center line. Do a center line on your tongue. And you're going to want to sew this on the back side here. So this is going to be your right side, and it's going to look like this, so that when it's sewn together, this is going to flip up. So it's going to be right sides together, and you're going to want to line those two center marks up, and you're going to baste on your tongue. Usually go ahead and clip. Okay. So that this step, you can decide if you want to go ahead and do your pleats or you can wait to do your pleats. So I'm gonna go ahead and I will do my pleats now. So remember, when you do pleats, you're gonna want to have you're gonna be working from the wrong side of the fabric. So here's my pleat. So if I put that together, you're going to see what would happen. Okay, the pleat would be gathered on the wrong side, because this is the right side of the fabric. So you're going to want to turn it so that the right sides of the fabric are together. And you're going to sew this little pleat closed. So right sides touching. And you're going to want to do that to all 4 pleats. And I do that at about 1/4 of an inch, and I sew up, and then I sew back. So there's one. Match my edges together, so it's making that nice triangle. And I'm going to do that to my other exterior piece. Remember, right sides together. Make your triangle with your sides touching here. Sew that pleat shut. And do it to the other side. This little pouch is so fun to make. It goes quick and easy. It's a great little gift for anybody. You could make it in a feminine or a more masculine fabric. So we've made our pleats here. So now the next step is I'm going to get my little holder, and my name tag is going to go in on the lining side. So I'm not going to use that right now. So you're going to want to have right sides together. I'm going to start at my pleats, and I'm going to line my 2 pleats up. And then I'm going to use a little wonder clip. Line the 2 pleats up. And you can open those seams if you want. I think on such a tiny little bag, you don't need to. This particular little pouch that I'm making is not even interfaced, but you could use some interfacing if you would like. So I'm just lining up my side seams. Okay. And then on the other side here, this is where I'm going to install my little tag, not tag, but little catch here, so that you could clip this on to, I don't know, your backpack or anything that you want. So this right here is just a little piece of rickrack. So this is the inside, the right side And I'm going to put it, I don't know, about halfway up on that seam. And I'd like to leave a little extra. And just use a little wonder clip here. And another little wonder clip, and now you're ready to sew at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And then right at that little tab that I made, connector strap, I like to go back and forth over it a couple of times. And I can see right there, I got a little, I'm going to increase my stitch right there. So what I always like to do when I sew is to always go back through and make sure that that seam allowance, and I've cut both sides of the fabric, and so one side of the pouch is done. Look at that. So I'm going to turn it right side out. Put this thread. And look at that. So this is the outside of the pouch here. And then this is our tap. Little. So look at that. All right, so now we're just kind of ready to do the inside of the pouch. So these are the 2 lining pieces. You're going to want to go through the same procedure. I'm going to start by right sides together, and I'm going to do my little pleats here. So there's be 4 pleats. Right sides together. Oops. So I like little pleats. Sometimes I'll use box corners, but I think on small little projects, it's nice just to use the little pleat. So I've done all 4 of my pleats for the inside of my bag. I'm going to want to put right sides together. I'm going to, once again, oops, right sides together, almost goofed up there. Match up the corner of the pleats, just like we did with the main fabric. Little wonder clip. Little wonder clip. Now here at the bottom of the bag, you're going to have to decide if if it's on the bottom or the side of the bag is where you'd like to have the opening to turn your bag right side out. So on mine, I'm going to make it at the bottom here. Okay, this is where I'm going to have an opening. So I'm going to put a little wonder clip right there. On the side seam here, I'm going to sew in a little tag that said I made this little pleated pouch. So this one goes right in the side seam. And a little wonder clip on this side. All right, at 1/4 inch. I'm going to start to sew. Okay, I'm coming around the corner here where my pleats are. Now remember, this is where I'm going to leave a small opening to turn my project right side out. So I go about halfway on the bottom. I'm going to do some back stitching. And this is where I'm going to stop sewing. I'm going to give myself about 2 inches for the turning. Back stitching. Snip any loose threads that you have. And then, like I said, then I always just like to give everything a little look through to make sure that my seams look good. Every now and then I'll skip this step, and then I'll be at the end, I'll say, oh, I had a little bit of slippage with my fabric. That looks good. Right. And then right here at the very bottom, that's where I left my little hole to turn my project right side out. What's cool about this little fun pouch is you can just sew it right at your sewing machine. Right, so I'm going to want to put right sides together. So here's my main fabric, my lining fabric. Put the 2 bags in, side of each other. Can it move back here a little bit so you can see that better? Usually I just stick my whole hand in there. Then I find the side seams. Oh, and you want to make sure that this tongue here is inside. So don't make that mistake where you sew your tongue on the outside. Remember, that tongue has to be inside your lining fabric here. So then I go to my side seams and I match my side seams up. Add a wonder clip. And the other side here. Match them up. Side seams. Add a wonder clip. So then you're going to want to add a few more little wonder clips all the way around the top edge of your bag here. So I end up putting a total of 6 clips. Here. So now at 1/4 inch, we're going to sew along this top edge, sewing the 2 little bags together. Usually when I do this, I will start at a side seam. This might be a little bit hard to see. I'm going to try and bring the camera up a little closer here so you can see as I'm sewing. And just go nice and slow. Want to make sure that none of your fabric is bunched up. So I just kind of just smooth it out with my finger. This is a really great beginner's friendly project here. Back a little bit here. All right, so we have sewn this together. Now you're just going to reach in at the bottom here where we left that little opening to turn our bag right side out. So here today, it is just like 3 days of solid rain on Kodiak Island. All right. So here's that opening. And I usually stick my finger in there, push out my pleats. Right? Then you're going to want to close up your lining. I'm just going to do a quick little finger press here at the bottom. I'm going to pull some of the thread out on my machine, and I'm going to hold these 2 back threads. This is going to give me a really nice looking closure. Lower my presser foot. Hold on to these 2 threads. Sew. Okay, pulling them. Then back stitch. Okay, and then sew forward. And then do some back stitching. So if you use that method, it'll stop. I don't know if you've ever had the problem where you have all this knotting and bunching up of your thread. And that's how you fix that problem. So I only worry about that if it's going to be a top stitch seam that's going to show. Oh, this is just so cute. All right, so then I'm just going to push my lining in. If you want to, you can give this a good press and top stitch all around the top of your bag, but that's not a necessary step. And then now your bag is finished. Look at that. So all I have to do is add in a little tiny snap to close it. You could use some Velcro, any kind of snap, or magnetic snap here. And then my name tag. So that only took about 15 minutes to sew if I was not talking. So I hope that you enjoyed learning about this project. All right, so here's my little pouch that we just finished at the sewing machine, and now I'm going to put in a little plastic snap. So you're going to want to measure. So the finished size, you can see, is about, it is 3 3/4 inches, the tongue here. And so you're going to want to be right in the center. So you can either mark the center by measuring, or you can take your tongue and your project, fold it in half here, and you're going to know where your center mark is. So I like my tongue to leave a little extra space here so that the bag can be full. So right here's my center mark. I'm going to poke a little hole with my awl. And then you're going to want to use a little bit of fray check. Put some fray check on there. Then I'm going to use my little cam snap press here. This is the small press. What's nice about this press, I have the big professional press, but this press does a great job because you don't have to change the dies here. So it's just one die. All right, so I always put on my male snap first. Poke it through. So this is the male side of the snap. Give it a press. And then to mark the exact location for the female, close it to where I like it at. I'm just going to make sure everything looks centered. I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure right here on the snap. And it's going to leave a little mark here. I think you can see my little mark. And that's in the center of this mark is where I'm going to use my awl. Apply the female snips, and then I add a little bit of fray check. Get the female side. Okay. The button goes on the inside. There's my female. Bend a little Henry here. You just kind of want to make sure that you don't have any fabric bunched up. And just give it a little press. And you have your bottom snap. So we're going to give that a snap. Like I said, I like to leave this little bit of extra room so that my pouch can be full. So you can see with this little pouch that there is some room for items to come out the side. So I wouldn't put like change in here, but you could make the tongue larger if you wanted to. And then I have my little connector strap here. And this is the one I made earlier. And like I said, you can, if you want to, come along here and do some top stitching. But on this bag, I didn't. So thank you for joining me here on Sew Kodiak Life.